you find yourself at the nursery to buy a fruit tree, maybe like an apple tree, and then you find the kind of apple that you want, but there are 30 of that kind of apple. How are you supposed to know which one of those to buy? Today I've got a very special guest who's gonna walk you through how to decide on the best kind of fruit tree for your environment, your backyard. Let's get busy. Stay tuned to the end of the video where Tom is going to share some surprising results of an experiment they did planting apples in a warm weather climate like Southern California. Okay, I'm joined here with Tom Spellman. Good to see you, Tom.
Cameron, good to be with you.
Fruit tree enthusiast and very experienced. I'm really grateful for your knowledge. It's helped me over the years a whole lot. You've got something to talk through today.
I went to the nursery the other day to pick up this tree and looked at several trees, and this was the one I liked best. It was a 2-year Dave Wilson tree that was shipped last January, planted up in this container and grown on for 1 season. But at that time, it was topped here at about 40 inches, and the structure was allowed to develop low. So this is a great example of where you want to start with a backyard orchard tree. I'm not necessarily looking for the tallest, but I'm looking for something with a nice bud union, a nice straight trunk, and low branching so I can develop a low fruiting structure. So on this tree, I could do whatever I want. It'd be a great specimen to put on a trellis. If I wanted to espalier this one, I could even just do it as a casual espalier and not put it on any kind of a structure. Just cut the growth that goes out into the area where I don't want it and allow the growth to develop in the areas where I do. Absolutely. I could make it shorter. I could come down literally by 50% and just use that lower structure and just grow a low fruiting bush out of it, or I can develop a higher head structure. So this is nursery pruning. If they were to take this tree in the nursery and they were to cut it back to 18 inches, nobody wants to buy that tree. They don't want to pay the price for it because they're thinking, well, 3/4 of the tree is gone.
Yeah.
Even though that's what's going to give you that nice low structure. But this is a very well developed nursery grown tree that is acceptable in size and acceptable in structure to anybody that would want to buy it. So this is a great place to start. This is a great tree to look for.
Isn't part of this because it's got so much growth going all the way up, you have a lot of options?
Absolutely.
If you wanted to prune these off and go for not quite a central leader, you'd have to develop a new one. But you've got options. You can start with a higher canopy. You have a lower canopy if you want to cut it lower. What other things should people be looking for, though, when they're trying to determine which tree to buy? Maybe, the leaves look bad, or sometimes things get stressed when they're sitting in a nursery.
The main thing to look for really on a young nursery tree like this is make sure there's no sunburn. Make sure the trunk is clean. You don't want scarring, you don't want sunburn. This look at that nice bark. It's uniform all the way up. It has a nice even color. So this has been protected. So you want to make sure when you plant that out to the landscape that you also whitewash that trunk so that you're not exposing it to sunburn in your landscape right away. And you want to just make sure that the bud union is exposed and above the soil level, which this one is. It's right there where it belongs. Don't only pay attention to the cultivar itself. This tree has 2 tags on it. The first one tells you that it's red Fuji apple, gives you some of the attributes of the variety. The second one is a rootstock tag. It tells you what rootstock this tree is budded onto. And this is on Mollings 111, which is a very, very diverse apple rootstock. It's probably the most popular apple rootstock in the world.
To just clarify, there are different kinds of rootstocks that are adapted to different kinds of conditions. Inside the ground, the roots, the top of the tree is grafted onto. They've developed these rootstocks that are adaptable to certain types of soil or certain types of conditions. So ideally, you're going to get the type of rootstock that works best for the type of soil that you have.
Absolutely. Now, this is a very diverse root system. It'll take a heavy soil. It'll take a sandy soil. It's self-supporting to the variety. It doesn't need to be staked. It's resistant to woolly apple aphid. It's resistant to suckering. So it has all the attributes that you would want to grow a really nice backyard apple tree.
Tom, what are the other things people should be looking for in a tree that they're buying from a nursery?
So I want a nice straight trunk. I want clean bark. And I want a nice low developed structure like this that I can train into a good, nice low branch specimen in my landscape.
If you're seeing some browning on some leaves, this is kind of fairly typical stuff. The rest of the leaves, the rest of the canopy looks good.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
This is not anything to really worry about. This wouldn't dissuade you from this tree.
No, not at all. In fact, in another month, all these leaves are going to turn yellow and fall off.
Yeah, all of them are going to be brown.
Depending on what time of year you're buying the tree, it may or may not even have foliage on it.
Yes.
So, but this is a good time to look at how that growth developed over the summer and how this tree, you know, over summered in the container.
This is gorgeous. I know exactly where this is going to go. It's going to go right next to our pink lady apple over there, which
Good.
is going to get cross-pollinated with some of the others that we've got around. So
Good. Yeah, well, a lot of people that have watched some of my videos in the past have seen the videos of the Irvine South Coast Research and Extension Center. We did an apple trial. It was about a 10-year trial, and we grew 30 different varieties of high chill apple in Irvine, California. A very coastal condition, a very low chill condition, and we did it to kind of disprove the theory that these varieties of apples needed between 500 and 1100 chill hours.
And chill hours are where it's under a certain temperature that helps the buds to develop.
Chill hours
and actually
are
fruit.
basically accumulated from November 1 until January 31, and they're thought to be hours between freezing 32 and 50 degrees. So and normally at the Irvine field station, they'll get anywhere from 100 to 200 chill hours in a season. And these were all varieties that were required between 500 and 1100.
And that's in order not for the tree to survive, but in order for the buds to develop and for it to reliably fruit.
For the tree to reliably fruit. We planted 30 different trial varieties. We had good quality fruit on 29, and I would say exceptionally good sets and good quality fruit on probably 10 or 12. So this was one of my favorites in that trial. This is red Fuji apple, or what they call Ko-Fuji 2, and it's a variety developed from the original Fuji strain that has a little darker red color, so it was more acceptable market variety. But also in our taste tests, it's always scored higher than the original Fuji. So it's been one of my favorite varieties for many years. I know you didn't have one in your collection, so I wanted to gift one to you.
This is fantastic. What questions do you have? Put those in the comments below and we'll be able to answer those questions. I'll be fielding those. I'm going to be putting a link right here for you to click on for other videos that I'm doing with Tom, so that way you can get up to speed on all the different things we've done with fruit trees, Tom and providing his insight on what we're doing, things that you ought to be doing as well, and whether you've got one apple tree that you're considering to plant or 500. Until next time, stay busy.